They should be able to. Oh, yeah, they definitely can now.
Okay, hello.
Hello!
Welcome.
Hello, welcome to Improbable Wargaming.
Welcome to Improbable Wargaming's Meta Monday. I'm Calvin.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Travis.
So that's Steven. And that's Travis.
Yeah.
There we go. So we had a great weekend playing the old meta. Everyone's still playing the old meta, unfortunately. I don't think looking at some of the lists, I don't think anyone big was playing new meta yet. Considering the Arks of Omen book came out literally Saturday, so it'll be pretty hard to play that. So Steven and I went to an RTT, which was for LVO prep. And so he played a list he's taking to LVO, and I played a last hurrah for a favorite list of mine before it gets killed by the books. So I think we'll just segue terribly right into talking about that. So Steven, why don't you tell us all about your RTT experience on Saturday? And then I'll follow up after that you're done.
Yeah, sure. I mean in general, it was really nice local tournament. My first game, I got to go against Halo Doom. So it was a sad day to see elves killing elves. As always, like I say,
let's back up.
All elves matter. What was that now? Me? What was I playing? Oh, that's a secret. No, I was playing Harlequins. My babies. I still love them. I think even into the new meta they'll still be annoying people, so I like that. But yeah, I played them. So it was Harlequins into Halo Doom. They had a Farseer. They had 2 Falcons. They had I think it was like 8 to 10 Wind Riders. It was a full squad of Dire Avengers, and then snipers everywhere. kind of shenanigans, and then of course one squad of Swooping Hawks, just because they're still good no matter what. And so yeah, I was dealing with that, and then I just realized right when we were starting that game, and I was like, man, everything I hit him with is wounding him on 2s or 3s easy. I'm gonna just rush him, and so I just went right into his face as hard as I could, and I put down his full 10-man Wind Rider right away. I soloed my Troop Master into the 10 Dire Avengers and had him fight twice, so he made sure he picked up all 10, and they went away real quick. So it was like basically it's like half his army kind of almost vanished, and then he just had 2 Falcons sitting in reserve with Banshees in them. So turn 2, he landed, failed, hit both Banshee charges, which it's kind of expected at 9 inches. And we just actually, no, he did make one, and I forgot he had that fate dice, so he had automatic 6, and he just had to roll 3, so I forgot about that. So he did make 1 in there, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. Second turn, I put down his Avatar Kane, which I was kind of surprised, but when he caught 2 fusion pistols to the head and he didn't make his saves, he kind of that helps. It's like, oh, what do you mean you only have 2 wounds left? Okay, this is gonna be easy now. So things went from bad to worse for him real quick. And by the end of turn 2, he's like, yeah, I think we're ready to talk this out because I don't have much of my army left now. And so we walked through. He decided to play turn 3 just because he wanted to see it out. But we were done. I scored 99 to his 30. It was pretty bad. I felt bad, especially because he was telling me, it's like, oh yeah, I'm here because we're about to have a baby and this is like the last 40K I'm gonna play. I don't know why I keep having these stories happen to me. Like this one guy's like, you told me I was gonna win and you beat me, and then I get this guy going, this is my last hurrah because I'm having a baby, and I'm like, oh god, why?
The baby strangler moniker, Steven.
I know it just keeps happening. It's so that was but it was otherwise, I mean, me, I'm silly, so I try to make it fun even though I'm not letting up on the gas the whole game. And then we go into the next game, and I'm like, oh god, it's Nurgling basically. It's Death Guard, which I'm like, I mean, I beat Death Guard pretty consistently. There's only one player I've played that consistently beats me, so it just makes me always nervous in a Death Guard because they're just everything. All my damage 2 goes damage 1. You just have to be way more careful, work a lot harder, which is fine. But I got lucky. He made almost the same mistake that the other Death Guard player did in Kansas. The only difference is he made his advanced rolls, and I'll explain. He in Kansas, the guy pushed that demon prince into the middle of the board and then tried to advance troops up to protect him.
Yeah.
And failed. This guy did it smarter, moved all the support stuff up first, got his stuff all up there. But honestly, it wasn't enough. It was one troop of Marines. It was his only psyker doing warp action. And then he supported with a guy who says you did not charge this turn if you charged. And so then I just shot all the Space Marines off around him. Fusion pistoled the no charge guy off the board, and then just charged and slaughtered his only psyker. And it was like, yeah, I took 8 points out of his, because he made his first warp charge. Like, I wasn't able to deny it, sadly. But after that, you know what I mean? He just lost 8 points of being able to max it out. So that was felt good about that. And then I was being clever. I was taking a risk. He was playing a lot like Jason from the Warhammer store does, where he likes to put like half his army in deep strike and then thinks you're an idiot and the deep strike's in your back. So I left this little space just big enough for 3 Terminators in my backfield on purpose. And for 2 turns, he kept dropping Terminators in there, and then I killed them. I was like, yeah, just keep putting them there. I will keep killing them. You know? And so it was made it nice because his biggest threat kept landing where all my guns were and then just getting shot off the board. And I was like, yeah, keep doing that. And he just kept doing it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, thanks, bro. I was saying this in my head, right? So I was able to at least he was a better player for sure, but he fell for all my tricks, which made me happy. And then that game ended with a 96-2, I think it was 42 or 46, somewhere in that vicinity. But yeah, that board, that fight was like as it should be. We were fighting for the middle the whole time, and I just managed to, with having 9 troops, I'm able to maintain control pretty well of the board, especially when I'm not playing like I played light. I've learned with Twilight, which is what I play now, is with light, you can pretty much be aggressive all the time because you can move your maximum distance, still shoot, and you're hard to kill. With Twilight, it's more of a trading army, but with certain matchups, it can be aggressive and trade better. But I found with Death Guard and Necrons and stuff, you play a slow game and just keep trading with them, and it typically works. But my third game was me playing for first place, which I texted Travis like after turn 1. I was like, I don't think I'm winning this game. I don't know. I was just not feeling it, and but then things started turning, my favor. I mean, we kept holding each other to 1 primary the whole time. We just kept trading back and forth, and I was taking out his Scorpix with fusion pistols, which he was hating, and I was playing it more shooting, and only charging once he was significantly weakened, and finally the trading went to my favor, where he literally at turn 5 had 2 units left on the board, and I had half my army, but they were mostly on one side of the board, and I kind of felt like I won, and I was tired, and I made a choice to just score my points on secondary real quick and just call it a hand over and just be done, because 9 hours a game and I was good. And I chose not to charge a unit I was supposed to. I should have. And not doing that went from him only getting 4 points in secondary to 12, and him going from losing by 3 to winning by 9, or losing by 4 and now winning by whatever it was. Either way, it was like, I learned a very valuable lesson. Don't stop. If you're playing for first, you don't stop playing until the game's over. Don't just be like, oh, I'm good enough, and then just walk off the board, right? So it was but it was amazing to be able to go from being the middle of the pack in Kansas. Kansas, I made so many mistakes because I was so nervous. First guy I played basically was like, just stand next to me, we'll talk through it, it'll be okay. You know what I mean? And then to go here where I felt I showed up not confident, like you heard me saying, I don't even want to be here. So finally just going, you know what, I'm going to snap out of it. I'm just going to play, and we'll just see how it goes. To then having a really great time. And to be able to be in the top 4, standing next to guys who were in the top 15 at Kansas just made me feel good. I was like, okay, at least I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with these guys that really did amazing in Kansas. So I'm happy.
Yeah,
so
that was a valuable lesson for you too on that last game. Like one of the big things was that the mission had sticky objectives, right?
I forgot about it halfway through. Yeah, because I could have been.
I feel like that's a common mistake that people will make, especially at the end of the game, where they will just forget that it's sticky objectives, and then their opponent just walks off a point and grabs another point. And you're like,
and that's how it happened.
Right? Yeah, you can do that because the mission has sticky objectives.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, then that's what it got me, right? Because if it wasn't sticky objectives, then it would have been a tie game. Honestly, that's the funny part. If it wasn't sticky objectives, the game would have ended in a draw with the mistake I made. But because it was sticky, he could win it. So yeah, that was a hard lesson. Yeah, for sure.
It's tough, and something that like all of us will have to keep in mind a lot more with Marines getting sticky objectives all the time.
Yeah,
it's gonna be, you're playing against Marines. That's just like you're gonna have to have that in head. Like, oh, they can just walk off of a point and then still hold it.
That's for troops only, though, right?
Yeah.
And Arks kind of you don't have to bring troops if you don't want to, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of a heartbreaker there, Steve, at the end.
Oh yeah, but I was I did it to myself, right? The nice thing is, after the game was over, I was talking to Brandon Flock. He's the guy who took first. He was the guy playing Necrons that I played against, and he told me that I made him think so hard, so he hadn't thought that hard about a game in a long time, and he was like, that was an amazing game. And and it was a 9-point game, and when you're playing at a top table 9-point games, those are good games, you know what I mean? So I couldn't complain overall. I mean, I hadn't played, until I met you guys 2 years ago, I hadn't played Warhammer for over 10 years, 15 we'll say, and then to be at my first tournament in 15 years, just a couple months back, now to be in the, what I mean? It's at least I'm growing, right? And I went from one position to the next. So I can only look at it as a positive. That's what I'm going to do at least.
I told you a few weeks ago. Here pretty soon, you're going to be the best player out of all of us. Like,
I'm only hoping.
Like,
real quick, man. You're going to like 3 other RTTs.
Yeah.
By the time the Iowa log rolls around, you'll be like, look at these amateurs I'm with. Get rid of them.
That's funny. I mean, my season is pretty booked. I mean, to give you an example of how busy I am, I'm going to Warhammer Fest, which I love telling everybody, but I'm also going to a GT the weekend before that. So I'm going to GT, then I'm flying out to Warhammer Fest to another GT, then I'm flying back, and then just a month later we're in Kansas at the Grand, the big, so it's like, yeah, my season's gonna be really full. I'll probably end up with 10 to 12 tournaments under my belt between RTTs and GTs. So it's
yeah, I gotta see what that Kansas tournament is even about, because it's not a regular GT.
Yeah, I didn't look at it really close. I just know it's coming and it's on a weekend I'm not working, so it's like
it's not a regular GT. It's a team tournament, which I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that you just need to go down there with a team of 4 other people. Or I know watching Art, sorry for interrupting you, watching Art of War and watching some of these guys talk, they're pushing this idea of a team of a game where we come, like 3 of us show up with 750 points or whatever each. We coordinate our 3 efforts against another 3 people playing the same point size. And this was 5, which seems weird.
This was a 5
format.
team.
Yeah.
Woo.
5-person
team. Yeah, it's pretty weird. It's like 500 points each. Let's go. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know. I have no idea. And so like when you shared that, like, hey, here's the new tournament, like GW tournaments for this next year, right? I was like, okay, cool. Oh, yeah. Kansas again. Oh, it's the first one. And then I'm looking at it. I'm like, it doesn't say GT. It's not an individual event, and it's like a team, like Warhammer 40,000 team tournament. And I'm like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. So
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see. Anyway, sorry, Calvin, let's hear about your
right. So I was playing Custodes. I'm sure you're all shocked to hear that, but I was playing the last hurrah of a list that's going to be literally illegal now. It was Double Orions. It's a favorite thing of mine. So in case you don't know what an Orion is, it's a giant plane, literally, like it's like 12 by 11 and a half or something like that. The model itself is. And it can carry 12 infantry or 7 infantry in a Contemptor Dreadnought. So I loaded it up with Trajan, 2 Blade Wizards, a Vexilla that gives like +1 attack and an aura around it, and then 11 Spear Boys. And I had a group of sisters to start on the board. That way I would at least get 1 tick on primary on turn 2 on my home objective. So, round 1 was against Jacob Cummings, Death Guard. Jacob Cummings is a great guy, amazing player. I would play Warhammer with him every day, except that he plays Death Guard, because I hate playing as Custodes. Because again, that 2 damage down to 1, right? All my melee is damage 2. I think Harlequins are similar, outside like special characters and stuff. But the weird thing is, this list, this Orion list, lets you really turn the tables on Death Guard in a very weird way. The general shtick of the list is win the die roll, load up everyone in the transports except the prosecutors, literally everybody. Win the die roll, go over there, shoot some stuff, and then turn 2, pop out, and go to town melee. That's how the list wants to play, right? Well, I didn't win the die roll a single time on Saturday. Bug Eater, I played 6 rounds of Bug Eater in Omaha. I didn't win the die roll a single time then either. Playing a similar list, 2 Orions. Anyway, so round 1, played against Death Guard. Let's see. He goes first. He does his only shooting of note is like the Plague Burst Crawlers. The Orions are, just so you know, the Orions are, T8, 22 wounds, 3 up, 5 up, and hard to hit, -1 to hit, right? So it's a decent defensive profile. It's not the best. There's, we'll talk about later, there's some things that can just annihilate them. But his only shooting was Plague Burst Crawlers. And he rolled poorly. So he dealt 3 wounds to 1 Orion on turn 1 with all the shooting. And he moved up the middle, did Warp Ritual with a Demon Prince. And that was about it. Turn 2, I move up. I bring a Plague Burst Crawler down to 1 with shooting, and I wipe out some Pocketwalkers. His turn 2. What happens? He's not able to. I'm on closer to the middle, so he can't surround me, and I don't even know if he was thinking about surrounding me. But he fails to kill either Orion, and he Warp Rituals 1 more time, and then my turn 2 happens. On this list, my turn 2 is like the big turn for this. Once everyone gets out, it's go time, right? If I can manage to get out, it's go time. So everyone gets out, and I just start annihilating things. I kill all the Plague Burst Crawlers. I kill the Demon Prince. I kill another character, a Foul Blightspawn or something, and I just take over the board. On his turn 2, he deep striked all his Terminators into my deployment zone, and didn't kill my prosecutors. So we basically just flipped deployment zones. Basically, all his Terminators are in my deployment zone. I'm now all in his deployment zone. Turn 3 is me just cleaning up everything on his side of the board, and he kills my prosecutors, and the game just ends up going my way. It was 94 to 78.
He put up a fight though.
What's that?
He put up a good fight though. 76.
He did eventually kill a Blade Wizard and the Vexel for 6 points because I tangled with the Terminators to slow their advance back into the middle of the board. I got 14 points on behind enemy lines, 12 on Stand Vigil, and 13 on Assassinate because I killed all his characters. So that was a good game.
Nice.
Game 2, I played against an interesting list I've never even seen before, the All Grot Orc Army. So it was 3 times 10 Grot units. It was 3 times 4 little Grot tanks. They look like little tiny French World War I tanks, like the Renaults or whatever. Little tanks full of Grots. 3 times 6 killer cans, so the little tiny Grot mechs, right, with the big claws and rockets and everything. And then 2 big Grot battleships, Grot mega tanks, I think they're called. And then mega tanks. He had to have some characters. So he had a Beast Boss and Suisaur, and then some mech boys or something.
Because there's no Gretchen characters aside from Makari, but Makari doesn't count.
Yeah, Makari's there's Makari. Well, there's basically Grot Wrangler characters. That they're not great. Herds, yeah, they can herd those little Grots.
They're not HQs though.
There's one. There is one. He's around here somewhere. I could dig him out if you want to see him. But there is one character agreed. That otherwise they don't have enough. They would be really cool if they would buff the Grot side with characters.
But it looked like a fun list, and it was literally all vehicles, and all of 5 health vehicles. I'm gonna take Bring It Down. Ended up maxing that on turn 2. Literally on turn 2, I scored 3 points for Bring It Down on turn 1. I scored 12 on turn 2, but I could have kept going at that point. That's just when I stopped counting. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So again, I didn't win the die roll. So turn 1, he moves everyone. This is the scouring, by the way. He moves everyone up. I'm like, great. He cleared out space in his backfield. Thank goodness, because I was worried about if I'd won the die roll, I would have gone in the middle in front of him. And those little Grot tanks, they move 6 plus D6 inches, and then you can advance on top of that, so it become 6 plus 2d6. And then those could surround a Orion pretty quick if you're not careful. But he moved everyone up. And so then did some shooting that didn't matter much. You know what orcs don't like? even hitting on 4s Grots don't like. -1 to hit. Tell you what, they do not like that. So it was very hard for him to kill my guys. So and then my turn 1, I zip into his backfield, shoot a Grot Mega Tank, shoot some other stuff. And then this is hilarious. Travis saw this happen. One of the Orions, he dumped all his shooting in turn 2 into an Orion that he had planked a few wounds off round 1, and he couldn't kill it. He left it on 1 health. Health. No. Travis, do you have something you'd like to say about Custodes vehicles on 1 health?
Oh, I mean, I think we all know that as soon as a Custodes vehicle hits 1 health, it's just impossible to kill. It becomes literally invincible once it's at 1 HP. You cannot kill it. It will roll all of its invulnerable saves. You will miss all of your shots, and you will not be able to kill it. So the second Custodes vehicle is at 1, just ignore it. Move on to other things because you'll never kill it.
It seems improbable. That's what we do here. So, so again, turn 2 is my big turn. Everyone pops out of the Orions. So his turn 2, he couldn't quite fully surround it because he wanted to keep shooting at them. He should have advanced his killicans to try and surround it, but he couldn't. But he didn't because he wanted to keep shooting, and he brought it to 1 health. So
that was when I stopped. I didn't play in the RTT, but I stopped by to give my love to these boys and just check things out. And that was when I saw your game state was like on his turn 2, and I looked at his board and I was like, darn, he messed up.
Yeah, he didn't surround me.
Especially with that army, with a Grot army, it's just like loads of units, like just models everywhere. Flood the whole board is basically what the whole army does. Easily could have like just surrounded your Orions and been like, cool, you can't get out.
Which would have been a game ender, for sure. Again, it's a cheese list. He fell right into the holes of my Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
So, so turn 2, everyone pops out. I just annihilate his army from this point forward. He does finally kill the 1 health Orion, and then they had to hover jet because they had nowhere for them to go, so they had to hover jet and back up a little bit, which means they lose hard to hit, and you can now charge them. So his Beast Boss on Squigosaur charged the Orion and didn't actually kill it. It was hilarious.
The one that was at 1?
No, the other one.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah. So 1 Orion lived the whole game, which is uncommon. But I guess if they dump their load though, you usually the right thing is to ignore them because they're not going to score many points besides maybe like assassination type points or whatever. But so Battle Orion lived. The Beast Boss of Squigosaur did eventually kill Trajan and a Blade Wizard, so good for him.
Oh, nice.
Trajan failed to kill him, and then he interrupted and killed the Blade Wizard. But then the Beast Boss died to shooting from the Orion and everything else, and died to some Spear Boys. But I ended up winning that one pretty handily as well. 91.
Can you lower your camera down a little bit? We lost.
Oh, did it slide?
We lost your picture. Yep. There we go.
Yeah, I was staring at the model.
I want to see your beautiful face, bud. I want to see your.
I don't know. I just saw a ratings drop. No, so I won against the Grot list, 91 to 59, and so that was pretty good too. Yeah. Maxed out behind enemy lines, maxed out, bring it down on turn 2, and then 12 on stand vigil. So, yeah. Then the heartbreaker round for both. Round 3 was the heartbreaker round for both of us. I played against Tau, which I don't like playing against anyway. And then, as already mentioned, I did not win the die roll to go first. He was playing 2 hammerheads, a kitted up broadside, kitted up a crisis suit unit, a broadside, a devilfish, Farsight, and a Cold Star Commander, and then some other, Kroot and whatnot, whatever. So I knew I needed to win the die roll. He rolled. This was the game, really. He rolled a 5 on the die roll. I rolled a 5. I was like, oh, okay. Well, thank goodness I rolled a 5 with a 3-roll. He rolled a 5 again. I'm like, no. I rolled a 5. We roll again. He rolls a 5 a third time. 3 5s. And then I roll a 2 or a 3, whatever. It was kind of a bit of a heartbreaker. So turn 1 happens, and surprise, he just annihilates both my planes. And that was just the game. 2 hammerheads took down 1 plane. The broadside unit took down another plane. The Sun Sharks annoyed me. I was able to squeak out 49 points, so we kind of talked it out a bit. I had a Blade Wizard that was still able to kill so Trajan killed the Cold Star Commander. A Blade Wizard killed Farsight and a railgun because he had to move he was trying to max his assassinate points, so he moved everything forward to try and get my Blade Wizard left on my side of the board. And so he killed some cleanups and stuff. But yeah, that was a real heartbreaker of a game, and we got done before just about anybody else because it hurt. It hurt so bad.
Yeah.
I hate railguns. If I If I'd won the die roll, my planes would have zipped over there, killed one, probably 2 railguns, honestly.
Yeah, the
then,
hammerheads are not durable. Like, yeah,
no, they're not.
Your Orions can definitely take them out.
Oh yeah. Between the beam gun and the damage 2 gun, and then I put the 1 damage gun at something else, whatever. And then so I should kill 1 or 2 railguns, probably 2. And then everyone pops out, and maybe he kills a plane on his turn. Cool, that's great. The plane now died on his side of the board, where I want them all to be anyway. Because I always pick behind enemy lines with this list, because the idea is to do that.
Yeah.
Oh sure. You forgot the most important part of this story, though.
What's that?
On your game 1 originally was with me, and you immediately were like, "I need a judge."
Oh yeah, because you didn't put your team name in.
Yeah, I didn't put down what team I was on. I just showed up. I didn't even think about it. And next thing we got paired into our first game with each other, and you were like, "Nope, we're on the same team. This is not right." And it all got switched around, which is pretty funny.
So I finished 2-1. I finished 9th because of points, maybe 8th. I don't remember. It was 9th or 8th. Steven finished.
Yeah, you finished 10th.
Okay.
When it all settled out, you were 10th, and then Thomas was 9th, a friend of ours, and then I finished 4th.
So, yeah, it was a good day. Good day for stats. Wish I could bloody win a die roll with this list that wants to go first. 9 tournament games.
9 tournament games, and you haven't won a go 1 die roll.
That's funny.
This list that wants to go first. So, but that's enough about that. That heartbreak, because that list is now going on the shelf until 10th edition, because it literally is illegal now.
Yep.
So
yeah, because now all aircraft have to start in strategic reserve, and if you put your entire army inside 2 aircraft, you cannot put them all in strategic reserve, because you can't put more than half your army in strategic reserve.
So
that's good times.
Yep.
At least until the next
you could go half. You could take 1 Orion.
Yep.
Put a bunch of stuff in it.
So
long as it's below half, right?
Yeah. Put 550 points of custodies inside 1 Orion, maybe. I think I'd rather play them as Ares and just have them be pop out turn 2 boys that just annihilate things.
Yeah.
With their giant guns, if I do that, if I still play them at all. So.
Oh sure.
But that was our experience. We both went 2-1. He did better than me on points because he's Harlequins. He just maxes. Even when he loses, he still gets 90 points or whatever.
I got 81 points when I lost. Thank you very much.
I was barely able to squeak by 49 points on my loss.
Yeah, well, I've just learned how to point farm from you guys. I've gotten better at
it. Well, it helps to play an army that can do it, right?
Well, sure. Go ahead.
No, I was going to just what we're most looking forward to. All right, Steven, you talk, and then I'll talk.
Okay, sounds good. Well, all I was going to say is that the way I was playing it, it's not as easy to score points because, like I said, it's not light. I mean, take your places at when you play conservatively, it scores you only 2 points around. If you're winning, you can then push it up to 15. When you're jumping into that final point. But I mean, I just want to say, yes, they can point farm, but not as well as like somebody else's army that I know.
Yeah, I think it's just. Are you talking about Necrons? Oh yeah, I won't argue that. I won't argue that at all. That's what we do. Because we can't shift into Twilight and just be like, okay, cool, I'll just take it to you.
There you go.
Light or Twilight at LVO, Steven?
Oh, I'm definitely doing Twilight. I think that once we get past this and into Arks of Omens, I'm going back to Light because of the way GW did things. Light is going to be where it's at. It's going to be bikes. My goal is my thought process is it's going to be 12 bikes on the table in squads of 2 for behind enemy lines and take your places, because take your places can only be done by core units and bikes are core. So then I can be farming behind enemy lines and take your places and point farm there. And then they actually made they actually buffed one of our secondaries, which was deadly performance. Before you had to kill 3 units in melee to score it. Now you only have to kill 2 in melee, which Harlequins have no problem killing in melee, but 2 units makes it easier.
Cool. All right, so now with that, we'll kind of segue. Travis, what faction and what general list idea for that faction are you most excited about for the new meta?
Oh, I don't have a good answer to this. Because it's like all three of my main armies are like I like them a lot right now. I'm a little bit down on demons right now. Not a big fan of it. I think flamers are still really good, but the way Arks of Omen plays out now, you either like it ruins a lot of stuff.
Basically, just playing Bullet War, right?
What? Yeah, I mean it's yeah. You kind of have to. Yeah, I don't know. It's just you can't take multiple like I can't take a Khorne detachment and then a different detachment and then have access to like Khorne stratagems, Khorne warp charge stuff or whatever, right? I can't do that anymore because I have to just take an Arks of Omen detachment.
Well, that's not right because I was reading the rules last night of Arks of Omen. You're allowed to. Yeah, no, I bring your book today. But either way, you're allowed to. You have to. Your primary one has to be the Arks of Omen detachment, but then you can bring either a Supreme command or you can bring a patrol that as an additional cost. But that's it. So you do have the option. You do have that option.
Okay, well that's a little bit better then. But to answer the question, which ones am I excited for? I'm going to be playing AdMech at the end of the month or next week. I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be a fun game. AdMech have a lot more life to them now. So I'm excited to play that out and just see how the army feels. Their secondaries are better, which is really what they need to do. It was like Cataphrons get core, and you're like, yay, but what are the secondaries like? And then the secondaries got better, and you're like, okay, cool. All right. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm really excited to play Marines more still, because just it's a different world without Armor of Contempt and all the point drops and stuff. Like they're just a completely different army. Interestingly, the one army list that I'm actually really excited about is in Necrons, even though I played Necrons like all last year. And they got nerfed. But the list that I'm interested in playing involves a monolith. And it plays Novak, which doesn't care about it. Novak has never cared about OBSEC, like because they just don't run OBSEC at all. But it's +1 to charge, +1 AP on the charge. Is Novak. And then their like special like their dynasty specific command protocol is the one that pretty much everybody runs all the time anyway, which is the +1 strength on the charge. And Novak gets both sides of it, so it's +1 strength on the charge and then an additional AP on 6s to win. So your AP can just like skyrocket, which in a world without Armor of Contempt becomes like, yeah, Marines don't get saves anymore. They don't. It doesn't exist. Like Scorpex just pick up Marine units, which they already did, but now you don't get saves at all. And they get to do that into like things that have 2-up armor saves now too. Like, yay. But the list involves a monolith because monoliths can deep strike. So you and in Arks of Omen, strategic reserves are free. So you take like a unit of Scorpex or a unit of Lichguard or whatever melee unit you want, right? You put them in strategic reserve. You deep strike in a monolith. You spend 1 CP for a stratagem that lets you pull a core unit out of strategic reserve and place it wholly within 3 inches of the monolith. That's the only disclaimer. So it's not wholly within 3 and outside of 9. So you drop the monolith in 9 inches away from an enemy unit. You bring in a unit of Scorpex 3 inches away from the monolith. It's a 6-inch charge, but in Novak you get +1 to charge. So now it's a 5-inch charge. And you're just like, monolith, Scorpex, charge that thing. You're like, yay.
Yay.
So, interestingly, I'm actually really excited about that. Monoliths have been one of the things that like have been really crappy for like all of 9th. And just slowly but surely, every change that they've made over 9th, they've gotten slightly better and slightly better. They still don't fly, which I'm still angry about, but it's fine. We can move past it. It'll be fine. So like that's one list that I'm actually really excited about. Is to run that. So Necrons are still pretty high up there in like, this is the army that I enjoy the most. But I'm really excited to play more AdMech as well. And I'm excited to play Marines.
Cool.
But yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Steven, you said light is what you want, is what you're excited about, right?
Well, light is what I'm still going to play my Harlequins, but they're dropping off of my tournament list. I think we'll see how well I play them in test games, just playing whoever. But ultimately, I think that my switch will be back to my Grey Knights. I think that they're just looking really, really good. I've been messing around with lists already, that are taking 30 freaking interceptors, one squad of just regular of their Grey Knights, and then just 4 DKs, and then 3 characters supporting. Well, there'll be 4 characters. One of them one is the Grandmaster, and so yeah, it'll.
You can take 5 DKs now, right?
No, you can't take 5. That would be that's what got us nerfed the last time. So let's not do that.
But isn't there, like with Arks of Omen, can't you spend the 1 CP to bring a character you normally wouldn't be able to?
The rule is that 2 Grandmasters cannot occupy the same space. Like they have to be from. So if you're gonna have 2 Grandmasters, they have to be from different. What's the word I'm looking for? Well, there's different subgroups of Grey Knights. They cannot come from the same, and then they also now cannot come from different. They made it where you can't be the same or different anymore. Just you can only have 1 Grandmaster, and the only Grandmaster that gets around that rule is Carl Drago, because he is the Grandmaster of all.
He's not the Dread Knight.
He's not a Dread Knight. Well, no, because I can't bring there's a Grandmaster on foot as well.
Oh, is there?
So I can't bring a Grandmaster on foot with a Grandmaster in the baby carrier.
Gotcha. I just didn't know. I didn't know if that new Arks of Omen stratagem got around that or not. That sounds like
no. They made sure that wasn't a thing again.
Okay.
So yeah, that was initial, like the Grey Knights groups were all like, yes, we can bring 5, and then someone was like, no, look here, we can't.
Which is probably fair.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be so killy. I mean, between the fact that they got their secondary buff, which is that their teleporter strike is 5 points for killing a unit, and you drop a you either drop a Grandmaster or you drop just a regular Dread Knight into little squishy 1-room models, they're going to get picked up, and that's 5 points. Boom. So and as anyone who knows much about Grey Knights, are fast, flexible, and now they can score easier outside of one secondary, which is their cleansing one. But honestly, I don't know why you pick the cleanse when I like having more smites and more psychics that I can do. So I like to do psychic interrogation.
Psychic interrogation got nerfed.
Yes, but it's not as no, agreed. But here's the fun thing: it doesn't affect Grey Knights, right? Because everybody's a psyker, and we just need to see you. And I guarantee we're going to see something we can psychically interrogate, unless they want to hide their characters behind buildings and not help their army.
You have to be able to see the character to do it.
I know, but I'm thinking if you're usually armies are well supported by the characters who are involved in the fight, and if your characters are hiding outside the side, I might still slaughter you. I don't know, maybe. Yeah. I hear you. But no, I mean it's tough. I mean the other choice is just do Warp Ritual in the middle of the board, which I guarantee a Grey Knights unit can do. So it's gonna happen. We're fine. I think if, like you're saying, worst case scenario, you drop Psychic Interrogation because it's riskier. You don't do the cleansing one because it's a cast on a 6 now, where it was a 4 before. So you're gonna fail it now. You could just do Warp Ritual and say, okay, I'm gonna get 12, and I will be near the middle of the board.
Or you have like, I don't know, you just like make sure that you would have to have 2 units on a point, right, and just have 2 shots at it.
Yeah, but then what is your army doing? But you're playing it defensively, which you can play Grey Knights defensively. That's why they're flexible. But to me, that's just, I like, anyone who knows me, I like playing aggressive. So if I'm just hiding in my backfield and that's how the army plays, I probably don't want to play them. So that's me. So so like I said, Grey Knights are kind of what I'm leaning into, and maybe I'm going to take a closer look at my Imperial Knights, because I mean, with Armor Contempt going away, they're just so killy. They don't mind standing on the board edge and just shooting you to death and then marching forward with and just taking you off everything. So could be, and those are always fast games, no matter what. Even if you lose, you're probably 2 hours and going home.
True. Yeah, you were excited about Orcs too, right?
Well, Orcs, what I think about Orcs is that they didn't change, which is the heartbreak. They could have used some buffs for sure. I think that only Goths are doing well. The rest are like okay, or worse. And so it would be nice to see them get buffed somehow, outside of their secondaries. Secondaries are amazing, but there's and maybe that'll be enough. It's hard to say, right? Because we haven't seen enough yet. But I think armor of contempt going away automatically is great for them. Their secondaries did get buffed, and that may be enough. And if it is enough, well, then holy cow. My only problem with them is their footprint is massive and they're expensive to transport.
Yeah, if you want to travel to a tournament with orcs, it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, so for sure. But
How about you, Calvin? What are you excited for?
Wow, surprise! It's Custodes. Oh my gosh! But there are a couple lists I'm actually very stoked for. So, in case you were living under an Ark of Omen the past week, Custodes got OBSEC back on all non-character infantry. Limited to core, but that's literally all infantry. So was one list that I have right now, and there's no list I'm excited for that'll require me to do a similar of what I bought and some painting. But the list I can just play right now is literally Oops All Venatari. 18 Venatari, Trajan, a Blade Wizard, a Bike Captain, Trajan, a Termi Captain, a Bike Captain, 4 Terminators, 2 of 1 and 1 of 2, and a Bike Squad. And so it's literally just like behind enemy lines. Venatari are super fast, deadly obstacle boys. The Venatari with AOC gone will just cleave through Marines because their pistols are like, it's like pistol 2, 18 inches, strength 6, AP 2, damage 2. And so Marines are now saving against that on a 5-up. Oh, and it explodes on 6s too. Hit 6s to hit, make it another hit. Oh, and so you just annihilate Marines with these things that are now fast OBSEC boys. And then you deep strike all your Terminators except for one of your single Terminators. You probably have on your homo point because everyone else is moving forward. The bikes are moving forward, the Terminators are moving forward, or the Venatari are moving forward, and you just annihilate things quickly. I played a game against a guy on Friday night who wanted me not the best player in the world. The principle still applied. It was a corner to corner deployment, right? So I guess that's 18 inches between deployment zones. And going first, I was in his deployment zone turn 1 with the Bike Captain and some bikes, and then the Venatari converged on turn 2. And so behind enemy lines maxed out that game, that kind of thing, you know. The question is, do I deep strike? So the Venatari also have deep strike. So I deep strike for sure the 3 other Terminators and the Termi Captain. And I think maybe I also deep strike a Venatari squad, that kind of thing. Just give you options. I don't know. We'll see. So that's the list I'm super stoked for. Oops All Venatari. Eventually I'll be so excited for Oops All Terminators, where I play 3x6 Terminators in a similar kind of fashion. And then lastly, Oops All Bikes. So that strategy we talked about, bring in a second character that you normally couldn't, whatever. Yeah. So abilities are limited. You can't have more than one of the same type of shield captain in a detachment, so you can't have 2 foot captains or 2 Termi captains, 2 bike captains until now, right? So the list is literally 2 bike captains, 3x6 bikes, 18 bikes, the maximum number of bikes, and then I had some points left over, so maybe 2 Aluris Terminators, single Aluris Terminators. So it's just 20 bikes coming for your face, and that would be super fast and annoying and scary. I had to turn 1 bike in each squad away from the salvo launcher to make points for the Terminators, because I had 105 points, which is a very weird number for Custodes. That's like a character, and that's about it to efficiently use it. So turn 1 squad in each to a Hurricane Bolter instead of a salvo launcher. Gave me the 15 points to make 2 Terminators, and I'm excited for that. I have all the bikes in a box in there. I need to go assemble and paint them, and those are the 2 lists I'm mostly excited for. So there you go. I think they'll do good things.
Nice.
So, yeah. Any other last thoughts, guys? I think we're kind of near the end of our time.
We are getting close. I don't know. I mean, just seeing the couple meme lists playing at the tournament kind of made me want to makes me want to go buy 3 Tantaluses and paint them up and be like, let's go. They're because they can come on turn 1 and they've got, each one of them's got 12 strength, 8 AP3, shots coming out of them, and they carry 16, foot troops, and they can be terribly annoying, and they've like 18 wounds. So obviously they're not hiding, But if you can get turn 1, maybe I can get some turn 1s. Just race those big boats across the board and harass people would be pretty hilarious.
It would be really fun.
Oh yeah, I wasn't playing the only meme/cheese list at the tournament. There was a guy playing 3 of the giant corn machines. What are those called again? Lord of Skulls.
Oh,
yeah, the Lord of
I guess I
Skulls.
missed that. Yeah, I missed that. You playing that. And then you had
playing
3
of them. 3 giant Lord of Skulls. and then another guy brought, I don't know why, it just must have been his favorite model. He brought the Warhound Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it has like something like, I think he said it's 46 strength 8 flamer shots or some crap out of it. So he just wanted to flame things and do all that craziness. So yeah, I mean, he didn't win a single game, but he sure seemed to have fun.
Yeah. So long live the meme lists, as long as they can, I guess. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, you can go to tournaments just purely to be like the cool kid who's doesn't care what happens, but if you do well, then you're like, haha.
So, yeah. Well, cool. Well, thanks for chatting with me, guys. I'm looking forward to playing all these lists with you in Arks of Omen moving forward. And Steven's still stuck in that Nephilim mindset because he's going to LVO. He's still stuck in the past, man.
It's coming up so fast, though. Like, I felt like LVO seemed like forever away, and now it's like less than 2 weeks. It's like, holy cow. No, it's into the month. I mean, is it 3 weeks? Yeah. I'm gonna grab my calendar now. I'm losing. It feels like it's oh god, it's so soon. But
this weekend, it's next weekend. Yeah, that's 2 weeks.
Next weekend. So it's I need to start actually making sure like my army's got its case and ready to travel. I should probably make sure I bring in a few things I need with me as well. So that'll be good.
Well, cool. Well, hey, if you guys are still watching, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and join us on the Discord and all those other things. We are Improbable Wargaming. I'm Calvin.
This is Steven.
And I'm Travis. We'll see you guys next
later.
time. Bye.
See you later for sure.
Bye.
Voila.